Sega won 2024. If years could be won, they won. Easily. We don't know if they made the most money in 2024, but for us who play video games, they made the most great ones. They made so many great games that we couldn't play them all, even though we wanted to. You may have played a Sega game and didn't even realize it. If you played Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, that's a Sega game. If you played Persona 3 Reload, that's a Sega game. Unicorn Overlord, Sega. SMT5 Vengeance, Sega. Super Monkey Ball Rumble, Sega. Metaphor ReFantazio, Sega. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, of course, Sega. So yeah, they won. They didn't just put out more, they put out more, and it was all good. Great, actually. Quantity doesn't equal quality, but when quantity meets quality, that equals Sega. At least, that was true for 2024. The question is, how many great games will Sega release in 2025? Is this the new Sega, or was 2024 a fluke? Sega's 2025 is still mostly a mystery to us, and we'll look at some of the rumors later in the video that will illuminate their upcoming year, but we do have some games with solid release dates that we can look at first. In fact, one of them already came out in January. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. This is a PC port of the Virtua Fighter 5 console remaster, the fifth mainline entry in a storied fighting games franchise, which is widely recognized as the first 3D fighting game series. This Revo port comes with some added benefits like rollback netcode, 4K visuals, and some balance changes. Sega wants to start the hype engine for Virtua Fighter because they just announced the brand new entries in development from the same developer of Revo, Ryu Ga Gotoku Studio, or RGG for short, known for their Like a Dragon series, who is seemingly now taking over the Virtua Fighter franchise. Sega seems to be off to a rough start to the year, as this game has a mixed response on Steam, with players feeling that despite its strong core being the already good Virtua Fighter 5, this version cuts content, the netcode isn't great, and there's just not much added to the game to get new players invested. It's a missed opportunity to get that hype engine going for the next installment, and they may end up turning some people off to the franchise. At least RGG has gotten some experience handling the Virtua Fighter IP before reviving the franchise fully. However, we can assume Revo is not instilling confidence in longtime fans of the series that RGG will deliver. Next, again from RGG, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Set for release on February 21st, this spin-off in the long-running Like a Dragon series finds fan-favorite Goro Majima as a pirate, Yakuza, in Hawaii, with amnesia. This one is going back to their original gameplay style of action beat-em-up rather than the recent turn-based combat found in the mainline games. RGG doesn't miss with their Like a Dragon series, and given the insane premise and a unique offering of pirate gameplay we haven't seen since Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, we can expect this entry to keep the winning streak going for the Like a Dragon series, and we can expect it to start the winning streak for Sega's 2025. The last game we have a solid date for is 2 Point Museum on March 4th. If you had no idea the 2 Point franchise was owned by Sega, or even a thing, trust me, you're not alone. The appropriately named 2 Point Studios signed a publishing partnership with Sega in May 2017 before their first release, 2 Point Hospital, in 2018. Sega would then go on to acquire 2 Point Studios in May 2019. The 2 Point series is a simulation management game with a humorous vibe. Not my cup of tea, but if that interests you, check it out. It always seems to get a strong reception from those who play them. Much like Pirate Yakuza, 2 Point Museum is another entry in a successful franchise steered by the team that got it there with a new setting to keep things fresh. That's a recipe for success and another probable win for Sega in 2025. If you're enjoying the video, please like the video and subscribe for more coverage of the Japanese games industry. Okay, let's call it 2 out of 3 for Sega's first 3 months in 2025. Definitely not as exciting as Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload, and Unicorn Overlord. But the goal for Sega is to keep a certain quality standard for game releases, building trust and anticipation for all their games. Only Virtua Fighter Revo looks to have missed that mark. But to be fair, it's also the only game that has been released so far. There was actually a 4th game set for release in March 2025, But in the interest of quality, it was canceled. Football Manager 2025. In their most recent quarterly report, Sega announced that they decided to cancel Football Manager 2025 due to overambitious goals to evolve the game with new UI, graphics, and gameplay elements. They ended up needing more time to ensure quality was met. They are taking the assets from Football Manager 25 and putting them towards 26, expected to release sometime later this year. We can take this decision as a sign that Sega may really be in a new era, an era of quality first, without compromise. Football Manager 24 is a loved and highly respected game. Canceling a game this close to release, when you know you have fiscal quarterly targets to hit for your shareholders, shows us Sega sees quality as the long-term goal rather than short-term financial gains, which makes Revo's relatively disappointing release that much stranger. Maybe they couldn't stomach canceling 2 projects, and Revo was in a much better place than Football Manager 25. Sega is full of all-star developers, but I'm beginning to wonder if Sega themselves are the coach directing a team of all-star players, or simply the owner sitting in a box seat reaping the rewards. Now, let's take a look at a couple games Sega has set for release in 2025, but we just don't know when yet. On December 9, 2024, Sega announced that Demon Slayer: The Hinokami Chronicles 2 will be released in 2025 on all platforms. This anime 3D arena fighter series is one of the good ones, so far at least. Like the original Hinokami Chronicles, its sequel is being developed by CyberConnect 2, mostly known for their work on the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series. While Sega is publishing worldwide, it's actually Aniplex handling the native Japanese release. Aniplex, known for anime production and specifically Demon Slayer's production, have seemingly pushed Bandai Namco out of the equation in an attempt to gain more ground in the video games industry. Strangely though, they chose Sega to publish worldwide instead of going to sister company Sony Interactive Entertainment for PlayStation backing. Either way, it seems like Sega has got themselves another probable win sometime in 2025. In a quick, less than 30-second teaser shown at 2024's Game Awards, Sega announced Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. It being another entry in the popular Sonic Racing sub-franchise coming to all platforms is almost all the information we have. In a press release, Sega said the game will feature a distinct racing mechanic that promises to transport Sonic Racing fans into a new dimension. Rather than expecting Sonic Racing Cross Worlds to be the first human creation to bring us into the 4th dimension, I'm expecting this to be similar to Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, where the portals will take characters racing on one track to another. Still cool. There isn't any information on who's developing Cross Worlds, but the series has historically been made by Sumo Digital. Because Sonic Team Racing, the last entry released in 2019, wasn't beloved to the extent that Transformed was, it's still up in the air to see if this one will land well. There's also a new Mario Kart game coming out in 2025, so the natural comparison will surely hurt Cross Worlds' reception. There's always a chance that Sega will do what Nintendo don't, but we all know how that worked out last time. That's all we have for announced titles in 2025, but now the fun can begin. Rumors and speculation. Persona 6. It's real. It's happening, and it's coming in 2025. We can just quickly look at 2 posts sourcing the same leaker, Midori, previously thought to be a Japanese woman, now known as a white man named Ryan from the Bronx. While he may not be what we all thought he was, Japanese, he is what we need him to be, reliable. And he said in the same breath back in June 2024 that the Dragon Quest HD 2D project was a trilogy, and that Persona 6 is planned for 2025. Dragon Quest HD 2D turned out to be a trilogy. It was announced 3 days after the post, giving more credibility to his Persona 6 information. The other crumb we have to follow is in November, where Ryan tells us that Persona 6 is in the localization stage, and that development on DLC or expansions is already being worked on, a sign that the game is well on its way to being released and on track to land in 2025. Forget the grain of salt, it's coming, and it's going to be Sega's biggest and best game this year. Please be excited. Let's stick with Atlus and look at some more concrete leaks that suggest a remastered collection of Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoa is on the way. Fall last year, an update was made to Steam achievements on the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster backend. These updates are all related to various direct references to the Raido duology. Am I saying that right? These updates, of course, could only have come from Atlus, and were a mistake that was reverted the same day. The achievements mentioned activities and characters from both games, lending those more familiar with the duology to believe that it would be both games getting the remaster treatment. I think that this is also locked for 2025, but the reception depends on the quality of life updates that are made to the aging PS2 games. SMT3 Nocturne launched rough, but was able to clean itself up after some patches. Let's hope they don't make that same mistake again. Moving out of Atlus and into Sega proper, with Sonic Team, we have rumors of a Sonic Heroes project. As of now, it's not clear if Sonic Heroes is coming back in the form of a remake, remaster, or just a port, but we can assume it's coming out in 2025 in some form. There's enough smoke for us to call it a fire. Our good friend Ryan is back in the rumor mills, giving us mixed messages of Sonic Heroes getting an Unreal 5 remake, and then later saying it may not have even started development and that he doesn't have any info on its release. That was in March 2024. In October 2024, we got another source, Sonic is as Zero, who apparently got information right about Sonic 3, the movie, and Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. They say that the SHR title has been under construction since 2023, and its release date is autumn 2025, with the possibility of a delay. Quite vague and unconfident, but it's something to go on. This is one you can take with a grain of salt, and please hold your excitement until we get more concrete information. When it does arrive though, I suspect it will receive a more favorable reception than its initial launch. Sonic is more popular than ever, and more games just can't come fast enough. Now, instead of rummaging through the rumor mills, let's speculate about two trademarks Sega has filed recently. First, the long wished for Skies of Arcadia. Late January 2025, Sega filed a new trademark for Skies of Arcadia, leading some to believe, at the very least, a remaster is on the way. Skies of Arcadia, a cult classic JRPG Dreamcast game, released in 2000 and after being ported to the GameCube in 2002, has been on ice since. No sequels, no spin-offs, no sign of life. Until now. The faintest heartbeat for a game so many have asked for so long. It's not much to go on, but it's more than we had the day before the trademark was filed. And for now, that's good enough. When something more tangible manifests for this game, it will be shown the love it should have always had. Another trademark was filed the month before, in late December 2024. The trademark was for Echo, the dolphin. I gotta be honest, I had no idea this was a thing until those headlines popped up, and I'm still not sure we aren't being gaslit into believing Echo the Dolphin is some beloved Sega franchise people have been waiting for. For the people whose lives have been forever occupied by the knowledge of Echo the Dolphin, it may be hard to imagine, but for us who have lived without it, it's a ridiculous concept. It sounds like we're being fucked with. It was apparently released on Steam in 2010, but the page is gone. Also released on iOS at some point, but again, nothing is found. This is all adding to my conspiracy that this is all an illusion. It is apparently on the Nintendo Switch online subscription service, but I don't have that, so I can't check. So yeah, a remaster or port doesn't seem likely given its availability, but maybe a new entry's on the way. It wouldn't be the first classic Sega IP to get a revival announced. It'd be the sixth. During the 2023 Game Awards, Sega announced 5 classic franchises will be returning with all new entries. Golden Axe, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and Jet Set Radio. These seem to be farther off and not set for release in 2025, but if any of them would come, it's looking like Crazy Taxi or Jet Set Radio are the furthest along. Or at least it feels that way given how much more we've heard about those compared to the others. It's clear at this point that Sega has a lot on the way, and a lot of it sounds great. The quality still needs to meet the quantity, but I'm optimistic that Sega has a 2025 that will deliver another strong year that will add to our list of favorite games. Thanks for watching and/or listening.